we receive, and the facts and the advice are clear at the moment that we should not be thinking of lifting these restrictions yet.
Clearly coming through that the timing of this is something that is still being looked at, that nothing's going to change yet. But is it not fair to say what could change, even if you can't say when it would change? People are smart enough to realise that they have to stay home now, but they may look to asking the government about what the plan is in a few weeks' time or a few months' time.
It's entirely understandable, of course, that there should be a public debate about how we approach these difficult choices. But the most important thing to do is to make sure that we proceed in a way that's guided by science. And one of the things that we need to have are all the facts, all the data in front of us to know what would be appropriate to do and at what time. So the steps that we've introduced have been determined by the advice that we've received from the Government Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies. And they and others are looking at the facts that we have now. And it's on the basis of those facts that we will then say what we believe is the right process and the right timescale for easing these restrictions. And I appreciate, obviously, that if we're thinking in due course of particular settings coming back and operating, we need to make sure that those settings have time to prepare, absolutely. But it is also the case that we need to make sure that when those settings do come back, whatever the appropriate area of our life, our public life it is that has the restrictions eased, it's also important that we bear in mind what the new situation might be in those settings, because one of the things that we've learned from this new and deadly virus is that after we ease restrictions in some areas, there will still be a need for discipline in others, and we need to make sure that the approach that we take is informed by the science, and that the measures on social distancing and on protecting individuals, particularly public sector workers, are appropriate.
Talking about being guided by the evidence and the science,